The alien ship moved slowly through space near Earth's solar system. Captain Zekathara stood on the bridge of the Harmony's edge, his blue skin turning pale with worry. His long fingers drummed against the control panel as he stared at the human ship ahead of them. "Sir, they are sending us a message," said his communications officer, Velnara. Her voice shook slightly. "They want to meet us." Captain Zekathara closed his large black eyes and took a deep breath. Every alien in the galaxy knew about humans. They came from a death world called Earth, a planet so dangerous that most species would die within hours of landing there. Gravity was too strong. The weather was deadly. Wild animals hunted everything that moved. Even the plants were poisonous, and now they had to talk to these creatures. "Send a reply," Captain Zekathara said. "Tell them we accept their invitation." The human ship was called Terra's Dawn. It was smaller than the alien vessel but looked solid and strong. Dark metal covered its surface and strange markings were painted on the sides. To the aliens, it looked like a weapon built for war. An hour later, Captain Zekathara stood in the docking bay with his team. Dr. Hicksonall, their best scientist, carried a small device to record everything. Security Chief Vortan wore full armor and kept his hand near his weapon. Medical Officer Yistra had prepared emergency healing supplies in case the humans attacked. "Remember," Captain Zekathara whispered, "these beings survived on a world that kills everything. They are probably the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. Stay calm and do not make them angry." The airlock opened with a soft hiss. The aliens held their breath. 3 humans walked through the door. They wore simple blue uniforms and had relaxed smiles on their faces. The first human was tall, with short brown hair and kind eyes. He stepped forward and raised his hand in greeting. "Hello, there," the human said. His voice was warm and friendly. "I'm Captain Jake Murphy. Welcome aboard Terra's Dawn." Captain Zekathara blinked in surprise. The human's voice was not scary at all. It sounded almost musical. "This is Chief Science Officer Lisa Grant," Captain Murphy continued, pointing to a woman with long red hair. "And this is Communications Officer Ryan Carter." The third human was younger with blonde hair and a big smile. "We're honored to meet you," Captain Murphy said. "Would you like to come to our meeting room? We have coffee ready." Dr. Hicksonall whispered to Captain Zekathara, "Coffee might be a battle drink. Be careful." The humans led them through the ship's corridors. The aliens expected to see weapons on the walls or training areas for combat. Instead, they saw pictures of landscapes and smiling people. Soft music played in the background. Everything looked peaceful and comfortable. The meeting room had a large table surrounded by soft chairs. Windows showed the stars outside. The human sat down and poured dark liquid from a metal container into small cups. "Please sit down," Lisa Grant said. "Make yourselves comfortable." The alien sat carefully, ready to run if needed. Captain Murphy pushed a cup toward Captain Zekathara. "Try the coffee," Captain Murphy said. "It's our favorite drink." Captain Zekathara looked at the dark liquid. It smelled strong and bitter. He took a small sip and was surprised. It was warm and not unpleasant. "So?" Lisa Grant said, leaning back in her chair. "Tell us about yourselves. What brings you to our corner of space?" "We are explorers," Captain Zekathara said slowly. "We study new species and planets." "That's wonderful," Ryan Carter said. "We love meeting new people. Earth doesn't get many visitors." Dr. Hicksonall leaned forward. "Your planet Earth. We have heard it is very dangerous." The humans looked at each other and laughed. The sound made the aliens jump. "Dangerous?" Captain Murphy said. "I guess it can be, but it's home, you know. We're used to it." "Used to it?" Security Chief Vortan asked. "But the records say your world has deadly storms, poisonous creatures, and extreme temperatures." Ryan Carter shrugged. "Yeah, the weather can be pretty wild sometimes. Last weekend I went rock climbing in Colorado. Had to dodge a thunderstorm on the way down. Got completely soaked, but it was amazing." The aliens stared at him. Dr. Hicksonall quickly wrote notes on his device. "Rock climbing?" Dr. Hicksonall asked. You climb rocks during storms? Well, not during the storm, Ryan laughed. That would be crazy. I climbed before the storm hit. Lisa Grant smiled. Ryan loves his outdoor adventures. Last month he went whitewater rafting. Nearly fell out of the boat 3 times. It was so much fun, Ryan said. The rapids were incredible. Katie Phillips from engineering was with me. She laughed so hard when I almost went overboard that she nearly fell out too. The aliens exchanged worried looks. These humans talked about nearly dying as if it was entertainment. Speaking of Katie, Captain Murphy said, she just got back from her skydiving trip. Jumped out of an airplane at 15,000 feet. Says, the view was spectacular. Medical Officer Yustra gasped. She jumped from a flying vehicle? On purpose? Of course, Lisa Grant said. Katie loves skydiving. She's been doing it for years. Sometimes she goes with her whole family. Dr. Hicksonall wrote frantically. The humans were talking about activities that would kill most aliens, and they seemed to enjoy them. These activities, Captain Zekthara said carefully, are they training for your military? The humans looked confused. Military? Captain Murphy said. No, these are just hobbies. Things we do for fun on weekends. Fun? Security Chief Vortan repeated. Sure, Ryan said. Life's too short not to have adventures. Earth has so many beautiful places to explore. Mountains to climb, oceans to dive in, forests to hike through. Why wouldn't we enjoy them? The aliens sat in stunned silence. These Deathworld creatures were talking about deliberately putting themselves in danger for enjoyment. They discussed near-death experiences as if they were pleasant memories. Captain Murphy noticed their expressions. Are you okay? You look a little pale. We are fine. Captain Zekthara lied. Please tell us more about your world. Well, Lisa Grant said, Earth has every type of environment you can imagine. Deserts, jungles, frozen tundra, deep oceans. Each one is beautiful in its own way. And each one tries to kill you, Dr. Hicksonall muttered. What was that? Lisa asked. He said each one must thrill you, Captain Zekthara said quickly. Oh yes, Lisa smiled. They definitely do. There's nothing like watching a sunrise from the top of a mountain you just climbed, or seeing whales while scuba diving in the deep ocean. The aliens realized they were dealing with something beyond their understanding. These humans lived on a world that would kill most species within hours. Instead of hiding in safe shelters, they went out and played in the deadly environments for fun. What kind of creatures had they encountered? The next day, Captain Murphy invited the alien visitors to a special dinner in the main dining hall. Long tables were covered with white cloth and filled with human food. The smells were strange, but not unpleasant to the aliens. We want to share our culture with you, Captain Murphy said as everyone sat down. Food is a big part of who we are. The aliens looked at the plates in front of them. Everything looked safe enough. There were green vegetables, bread, and some kind of meat. Dr. Hicksonall carefully tasted a small piece of bread. It was actually quite good. This is wonderful, Captain Zekthara said. Thank you for your kindness. Lisa Grant smiled. Wait until you see what we have planned for after dinner. We thought you might enjoy some human entertainment. Security Chief Vortan looked nervous. Entertainment? Movies, videos, music. Ryan, Carter explained. Fun stuff from Earth. We picked some of our favorites to show you. After dinner, the humans led the aliens to a large room with comfortable chairs facing a giant screen. The lights dimmed and Captain Murphy stood up. We'll start with something light, he said. Just some funny videos that make us laugh. The screen lit up with images of humans in various situations. The first video showed a man walking on ice. Suddenly his feet slipped and he fell hard on his back. The humans in the room burst into laughter. The aliens stared in shock. They had just watched a human suffer what looked like a serious injury, and everyone was laughing about it. Oh, that never gets old, laughed Sam Foster, the navigation officer. Look at his face when he realizes he's going down. More videos played. A woman walking into a glass door, a man falling off a ladder, children slipping on wet floors. Each time someone got hurt, the humans laughed harder. Medical Officer Yistra whispered to Dr. Hicksnall. Are they watching recordings of their enemies being defeated? I think these might be training videos, Dr. Hicksnall whispered back. They study how beings get injured. The next video showed a group of humans jumping over barriers and climbing walls at high speed. One person missed a jump and crashed into a fence. Another tried to leap between buildings but fell short and hit the wall hard. Parkour fails are the best, said Danny Brooks, the security chief. He was laughing so hard he had tears in his eyes. Watch this next one. This guy thinks he can jump across that gap, but there's no way. Sure enough, the human in the video ran toward a large space between two buildings, jumped, and fell straight down. The camera showed him hitting the ground below. Is he dead? Captain Zekthara asked in horror. Nah, he just got some bruises, Danny said. These guys usually get back up and try again. That's what makes it so funny. Dr. Amy Watson, the medical officer, was giggling at another video. Look at this one, she said. Ice skating fails. This woman is trying to impress her boyfriend, and then bam. The woman on screen fell backward and slid across the ice on her back. The way she waves her arms trying to stay up, Dr. Watson laughed. Humans are so funny when they panic. The aliens exchanged terrified looks. These humans found it amusing when their own species suffered painful accidents. The videos continued. People falling downstairs. Individuals being hit by flying objects. Humans losing control of wheeled devices and crashing into things. Each disaster brought more laughter from the human audience. Now for some of my favorites, said Megan Torres, the tactical officer. She pressed a button and new images appeared. Extreme sports highlights. The screen showed humans throwing themselves off enormous cliffs with only thin fabric attached to their backs. The camera followed them as they fell toward the ground at incredible speeds. Base jumping, Megan explained. You leap off something really high and hope your parachute opens. Hope? Security Chief Vortan asked. Well, they usually open, Megan said. Sometimes they don't, but that's part of the excitement. The next video showed humans riding enormous waves on small boards. The waves were taller than buildings and crashed down with terrible force. Many of the humans were thrown from their boards and disappeared under the water. Big wave surfing, Ryan Carter said proudly. I tried that once in Hawaii. Nearly drowned, but it was incredible. More images followed. Humans racing through forests on two-wheeled machines, flying through the air, crashing into trees. People climbing straight up rock walls with no safety equipment, sometimes falling to the ground below. Free climbing, Lisa Grant explained. No ropes, no protection, just you and the rock. The aliens watched in growing horror as humans deliberately placed themselves in situations that would kill most species, and they were cheering for it. These are competitions? Dr. Hicksnall asked weakly. Some are, Captain Murphy said. Others are just people having fun. Humans love a good challenge. Engineer Pete Collins leaned forward excitedly. Oh, you have to see my collection. I call it Hold My Beer moments. He pressed another button. The new videos showed humans making already dangerous situations even worse. A person climbing a tall ladder decided to let go with both hands to wave at the camera. Someone riding a bicycle down a steep hill chose to close their eyes and take their hands off the handlebars. The best part, Pete explained as they watched. A man tried to jump over a campfire and land in it instead. Is that someone always dares them to do it, like, hey, hold my beer and watch this. Then something goes wrong and everyone laughs. They deliberately make dangerous situations more dangerous, Captain Zekthara asked. For fun, Pete nodded. Sometimes alcohol is involved, which makes the ideas even better. The aliens sat in stunned silence. They were watching what appeared to be a species that had turned self-destruction into entertainment. These humans didn't just survive on their death world. They actively looked for new ways to risk their lives and then laughed about it. Captain Zekthara realized he needed to contact the Galactic Council immediately. This was far worse than they had imagined. Captain Zekthara could not sleep that night. He kept thinking about the videos the humans had shown them. People falling, crashing, getting hurt, and everyone laughing. He had never seen anything so disturbing in his life. Early in the morning, He sent an emergency message to the Galactic Council. "Request immediate backup," he wrote. "Humans are more dangerous than we thought. They appear to practice recreational warfare training. We'll continue to observe and gather information." The humans seemed excited to show them more of their culture. Captain Murphy met them at breakfast with a big smile. "Today we want to show you how humans spend their free time," he said. "We have so many fun activities on Earth." Dr. Rachel Stone, the medical chief, sat down with a cup of coffee and a plate of food. "I brought my tablet," she said. "I have videos of all my favorite sports." She pressed a button and the screen showed humans jumping from aircraft thousands of feet above the ground. They fell through the sky at incredible speeds before opening parachutes at the last possible moment. "Base jumping and skydiving," Dr. Stone explained cheerfully. "I love the feeling of free fall. There's nothing like it." "You jump out of flying vehicles regularly?" Medical Officer Yistra asked in a weak voice. "Every weekend if I can," Dr. Stone replied. "My record is 15 jumps in one day. I was so tired but so happy." The next video showed humans climbing straight up cliffs with no equipment except ropes. Some of the climbers were hanging from tiny cracks in the rock, hundreds of feet above the ground. "Free climbing is amazing," Dr. Stone continued. "You have to trust your body completely. One mistake and you fall, but that's what makes it exciting." Alex Turner, the communications specialist, joined them at the table. "Are you showing them extreme sports?" he asked. "Wait until you see my vacation videos." He pulled out his own device. "I'm going cave diving next month," he said excitedly. "Swimming through underwater caves in total darkness. You can only bring limited air, so if you get lost, you die." The aliens stared at him in horror. "Die?" Dr. Hicksnall whispered. "Well, hopefully not," Alex laughed. "But that's the risk that makes it fun. Last year I went volcano hiking. We walked right up to the edge of an active volcano and looked into the lava. The heat was incredible." Nina Hayes, the weapons specialist, overheard them talking. "Oh, are we sharing adventure stories?" She sat down and pulled up videos on her tablet. "You have to see these party games from my college days." The screen showed groups of humans doing strange activities. In one video, people stood in a circle and pushed each other backward, trusting others to catch them before they hit the ground. "Trust falls," Nina explained. "If someone doesn't catch you, you crash, but usually people catch you." Usually. Another video showed humans jumping into crowds of other humans, expecting to be carried by the group. "Crowd surfing," Nina said. "You throw yourself on top of a bunch of strangers and hope they pass you around instead of dropping you. Sometimes they drop you, but that's part of the fun." The next video was even worse. Humans were crawling through mud while electric wires shocked them. They climbed over walls, under barriers, and through obstacle courses designed to hurt them. "Obstacle races," Nina explained. "The more dangerous, the better. This one has electric shocks, ice water, and fire jumps. I did it 3 times last year." Tony Walsh, the engineer, heard them talking and came over. "Are you showing them human sports?" he asked. "My daughter just started playing soccer. She's only 8 years old, but she's already really aggressive." He showed them a video of small human children running around a field, fighting over a ball. The children pushed each other, fell down, and sometimes collided with great force. "Youth soccer is great training," Tony said proudly. "Teaches kids to be tough and competitive. She comes home covered in dirt and bruises, but she loves it." Dr. Hicksnall was writing notes as fast as he could. The humans trained their young children in combat sports. They prepared them for warfare from an early age. "What age do your children start this training?" he asked. "Training?" Tony looked confused. "Oh, you mean sports? Some kids start as young as 4 or 5. Soccer, football, hockey, wrestling. The earlier they start, the better they get." "Hockey?" Captain Zekthara asked. Tony showed them another video. Humans wearing armor and carrying sticks chased a small object across ice. They crashed into each other with tremendous force, falling down and sliding across the frozen surface. "Ice hockey," Tony explained. They hit each other with sticks and slam each other into walls. Sometimes they drop their sticks and fight with their bare hands. The crowd loves it when they fight. The aliens watched in fascination and terror. The humans had created organized combat sports where participants deliberately hurt each other while crowds cheered. The fighting is allowed? Security Chief Fortan asked. Oh yeah, Tony said. Fighting is part of the game. There are rules about it, but basically if two players want to fight, they drop their gloves and go at it. Everyone stops to watch. Dr. Stone pulled up more videos. Speaking of fighting sports, you should see boxing and mixed martial arts. Two people get in a ring and try to knock each other unconscious while thousands of people watch and cheer. The videos showed humans punching each other in the face repeatedly. Blood flew from their noses and mouths. Sometimes one person would fall down and not get up. The goal is to hurt your opponent so badly they cannot continue fighting, Dr. Stone explained. It's incredibly popular. People pay lots of money to watch. And this is entertainment? Captain Zekthara asked weakly. The best kind, Dr. Stone replied. Nothing gets your heart pumping like a good fight. Julie Martin, the pilot, officer, joined the conversation. Are we talking about sports? I love watching horror movies while I eat popcorn. There's something relaxing about being scared while you're safe on your couch. Horror movies? Dr. Hicksnall asked. Movies designed to frighten you, Julie explained. They show monsters, murderers, and scary situations. The goal is to make you jump and scream. The scarier, the better. Carl Lewis, the maintenance chief, nodded. I watch horror movies every Friday night. Sometimes I invite friends over and we see who can watch the scariest movie without hiding behind a pillow. The aliens realized they were dealing with a species that had weaponized fear itself. Humans deliberately terrified themselves for entertainment. They competed to see who could endure the most fear. They turned psychological torture into a social activity. Dr. Hicksnall's hands were shaking as he wrote his notes. These humans were beyond anything the galaxy had ever encountered. They didn't just survive on a death world. They had evolved to enjoy death itself. 3 days after Captain Zekthara sent his emergency message, 5 large ships appeared near the human vessel. Admiral Kreshtar commanded the fleet from his flagship, the Galactic Peace. He brought 200 soldiers and the best negotiators in the galaxy. Prepare for hostage rescue, Admiral Kreshtar ordered his troops. The humans may be holding our people against their will. But when the Admiral's ships got closer, they saw something strange. Through the windows of the human ship, they could see Captain Zekthara sitting at a table with Captain Murphy. Both were holding small rectangular pieces of paper and looked relaxed. What are they doing? Asked Commander Thexara, the Admiral's second in command. I believe the humans call it poker, replied the intelligence officer. It appears to be some kind of strategic warfare game. Admiral Kreshtar decided to board the human ship with a small group. They expected to find prisoners or signs of battle. Instead, they found humans and aliens talking and laughing together in the recreation room. Dr. Ben Carter, the science officer, was showing card tricks to young alien officers. He made a coin disappear and reappear behind an alien's ear. The young aliens clapped their hands in delight. Magic tricks, Dr. Carter explained to the confused admiral. It's all about making people believe something impossible happened. Admiral Kreshtar pulled Captain Zekthara aside. Are you all right? He whispered. Are they holding you prisoner? Prisoner. Captain Zekthara looked confused. No, we are guests. The humans have been very kind to us. But your emergency? Message said they were dangerous. They are, Captain Zekthara replied, but not in the way we thought. Admiral, these beings are beyond our understanding. Before Admiral Kreshtar could ask more questions, Captain Murphy approached them with a big smile. Welcome aboard, Captain Murphy said. Any friends of Captain Zekthara are friends of ours. We were just about to start movie night. Would you like to join us? Movie night? Admiral Kreshtar asked. We saved the best for last, said Julie. Martin excitedly. Tonight we're showing classic horror movies, the scariest ones we have. The humans led everyone to the large viewing room. The screen was huge and the chairs were comfortable. Admiral Kreshtar sat between Captain Zekthara and Commander Thexara, wondering what was about to happen. We'll start with something mild, Captain Murphy announced. Then work our way up to the really terrifying stuff. The lights dimmed and scary music began to play. The screen showed a dark house in a forest. Lightning flashed and thunder rolled. A young woman walked slowly through the empty rooms, calling for someone. Suddenly, a creature jumped out from behind a door. It had sharp teeth and glowing eyes. The woman screamed and ran. The humans in the audience laughed and cheered. Admiral Kreshitar jumped in his seat. Commander Thexara made a small whimpering sound. "That's nothing," said Carl Lewis. "Wait until the really scary parts." The movie continued. The creature chased people through the house. It caught some of them and horrible things happened. People were hurt in ways that made the aliens close their eyes. But the humans watched with excitement. They ate something called popcorn and pointed at the screen when something frightening was about to happen. "Oh, here comes the good part," said Dr. Amy Watson. "This always makes me jump." The creature appeared behind a man who was looking in a mirror. The man turned around and screamed. The humans laughed and clapped. "How can you enjoy this?" Admiral Kreshitar asked Captain Murphy. "It's fun to be scared when you know you're safe," Captain Murphy replied. "Your heart beats faster. You get excited. But you know nothing can really hurt you. You create fear for entertainment?" "Sure," Captain Murphy said. "Humans love a good scare. We have haunted houses where people pay money to have actors jump out and frighten them. We tell ghost stories around campfires. Fear is exciting when you control it." The movie ended and another one began. This one was even scarier. The creatures were bigger and more dangerous. More people were hurt in terrible ways. The humans loved every minute of it. "This is my favorite," said Megan Torres. "I've seen it 20 times and I still get scared." "You watch the same frightening movie 20 times?" Dr. Hicksnell asked in amazement. "The fear never gets old," Megan replied. "Sometimes I watch it alone in the dark to make it even scarier." Admiral Kreshitar realized something incredible. These humans didn't just survive fear. They actively sought it out and enjoyed it. They had turned terror into entertainment. The third movie was the worst yet. It showed humans being chased by monsters through a city. Buildings collapsed. People ran screaming through the streets, death and destruction everywhere. "This one won an award for being the scariest movie of the year," explained Ryan Carter. "The special effects are amazing. Look how real the blood looks." "Special effects?" Commander Thexara asked weakly. "Fake blood, fake monsters, fake explosions," Ryan said. "None of it is real. It's all pretend, but made to look scary. You create fake terror?" "The best kind," Ryan replied. "All the fear, none of the real danger." As the evening continued, Admiral Kreshitar watched the humans carefully. They jumped at scary parts but immediately started laughing. They covered their eyes during the worst scenes but kept watching through their fingers. "I don't understand," he said to Captain Murphy. "Your people live on a world full of real dangers. Why do you create fake ones?" Captain Murphy thought for a moment. "Maybe because we're used to real danger," he said. "On Earth, everything can kill you. Storms, animals, diseases, accidents. We learn to deal with fear early in life." "So you make games out of it?" "In a way, yes," Captain Murphy replied. "If you can't avoid danger, you might as well have fun with it. Humans learn to laugh at death because the alternative is to be afraid all the time." Admiral Kreshitar began to understand. These humans hadn't become warriors because they enjoyed violence. They had become psychologically strong to survive on their deadly world. They found humor in fear because it helped them cope with constant danger. "You laugh at terror to stay sane," he said quietly. "That's a good way to put it," Captain Murphy agreed. "Earth taught us that danger is everywhere, so we learn to find joy even in scary situations." Admiral Kreshitar looked around the room. Humans and aliens were sharing popcorn and laughing together at the frightening images on screen. The humans weren't monsters. They were the most emotionally strong beings he had ever met. These creatures had turned their greatest weakness into their greatest strength. They had learned to master fear itself. The next morning started peacefully. Admiral Kreshitar was having breakfast with the humans, trying to understand their strange culture better. The aliens had begun to relax around the humans, though they still jumped when someone laughed too loudly. Suddenly, alarms started ringing throughout both ships. Emergency lights flashed red and yellow. Captain Murphy's communicator crackled to life. "Captain, we have a problem," came the voice of his navigation officer. "Massive solar storm, heading our way. It will hit us in 30 minutes. Captain Murphy stood up immediately. His relaxed expression disappeared and his voice became sharp and focused. "All crew to emergency stations. Seal the blast doors. Begin emergency protocols now." The change in the humans was instant and complete. The laughing, joking people Admiral Kreshter had been watching became a coordinated team of professionals. They moved with speed and purpose that amazed the aliens. "Admiral, you need to get your ships away from here," Captain Murphy said. "This storm will destroy anything in its path." "What about your ship?" Admiral Kreshitar asked. "We'll manage," Captain Murphy replied. "But your ships aren't built for this kind of storm." Lisa Grant ran into the room. "Captain, we've lost power to the main engines. Solar radiation is interfering with our systems." "How long until the storm hits?" Captain Murphy asked. 22 minutes, Lisa replied. "Captain." Murphy turned to his crew. "Ryan, reroute power from non-essential systems. Julie, prepare for manual navigation. Ben, get the backup generators online." The humans moved like dancers performing a perfect routine. There was no panic, no shouting, no fear. They worked together as if they had done this 100 times before. "Admiral," Kreshter watched in amazement. These were the same humans who laughed at people falling down and jumped out of airplanes for fun. Now they faced real danger and became completely calm. "Admiral," Captain Murphy said, "you really need to move your ships to safety." "We will not leave you to die," Admiral Kreshitar replied. "We're not going to die," Captain Murphy said with a small smile. "We're just going to have an interesting day." The storm hit exactly when predicted. Space around the ships turned bright orange and red as charged particles slammed into their shields. The human ship shook violently, but the crew kept working. Laura Young, the engineer, crawled through maintenance tunnels to reach damaged systems. Sparks flew around her as she worked with her tools. She was humming quietly to herself while fixing critical repairs. "Is she singing?" Commander Thexara asked in disbelief. "Laura always hums when she's concentrating," Captain Murphy explained. "It helps her stay calm." Chris Anderson, the pilot, guided the ship through clouds of dangerous radiation. His hands moved smoothly across the controls as the ship twisted and turned to avoid the worst parts of the storm. He was completely relaxed, as if he was playing a video game. "How can he be so calm?" Dr. Hicksnall asked. "Chris grew up flying through hurricanes. On Earth," Captain Murphy replied. "This is actually easier than Earth weather." The most amazing thing was Dr. Rachel Stone. When the storm damaged part of the alien ship, she immediately went to help injured aliens and humans alike. She worked in the damaged area, while radiation alarms screamed around her. "You should not risk yourself for us," Medical Officer Yistra told her. "Everyone deserves medical care," Dr. Stone replied as she bandaged an alien's wounded arm. "Besides, this isn't really dangerous. I've worked in much worse conditions during Earth disasters." The storm continued for 6 hours. During that time, the humans solved every problem that came up. When systems failed, they found new ways to make them work. When hull damage let radiation inside, they sealed it quickly and efficiently. Most importantly, they did it all while staying calm and sometimes even joking with each other. "Pete, the backup generator is making that noise again," Laura called out. "Which noise?" Pete replied. "The bad noise or the normal bad noise?" "The new bad noise," Laura said. "I'll fix it," Pete laughed. "That generator has more personality than most people." Admiral Kreshitar realized he was watching something extraordinary. These humans faced deadly danger the same way they faced everything else, with humor, teamwork, and complete confidence in their abilities. When the storm finally passed, the human ship was damaged but intact. Everyone was alive and safe. The humans celebrated by making coffee and sharing stories about the adventure they had just survived. "That was exciting," Chris said. "The radiation levels were higher than I expected. The hull breach was interesting too," Laura added. "I've never seen metal peel back quite like that." "Exciting?" Admiral Kreshitar asked. "You nearly died several times." "But we didn't," Captain Murphy replied. and we learned some things about our ship that we didn't know before. Every dangerous situation teaches you something useful. Admiral Kreshitar sat down heavily in a chair. Finally, he understood what he was dealing with. These humans didn't laugh at danger because they were cruel or insane. They laughed because they had learned to find joy even in the darkest moments. Your world made you this way, he said quietly. Earth is a teacher, Captain Murphy agreed. It taught us that danger is always present, so we learned to be ready for anything and to help each other no matter what happens. And to find humor in even the worst situations, Lisa added. If you can't laugh at your problems, they become too heavy to carry. Admiral Kreshitar began writing his final report to the Galactic Council. He wrote about humans who turned fear into entertainment not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they had mastered it completely. He described people who faced real danger with the same calm they brought to fake danger. Recommendation, he wrote. Humans should be considered for emergency response teams throughout the galaxy. Any species that finds terror amusing might be exactly what we need during our worst disasters. They are not conquerors to be feared, he continued, but healers and protectors who have learned to laugh at death itself. Before leaving, the aliens received gifts from the humans. Captain Murphy gave them recordings of comedy shows, adventure movies, and extreme sports videos. For when you want to understand how humans think, he explained. Captain Zekthara carefully filed the recordings under advanced psychological techniques in his ship's database. He was not sure his people were ready to understand humans completely, but perhaps someday they would learn to see danger the way humans did. As the alien ships prepared to leave, Admiral Kreshitar looked back at the human vessel. Those strange, wonderful beings were already planning their next adventure, laughing about the storm they had just survived and looking forward to whatever came next. They were the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and also the safest people to be around during a crisis.